Good morning, everyone. This article comes from CBS News. I hope everyone is doing well out there. Welcome back to Nicole Ali. This is my channel. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. This article is talking about a Washington Post columnist who went missing at the Turkey consulate as his fiance waited outside. So the man here, Jamal Khashoggi, went missing after he went into the consulate. He was getting some documents or whatnot to I guess to have that for his own records, and his fiance waited outside until the place closed and he never came out. So I'll get into the video, but into the article in a minute, but let me play this video real quick.
Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi has written columns critical of the kingdom's crown prince. His friends say they became worried after losing contact with him following his visit to the Saudi consulate Tuesday. His personal website had a banner on it that read, "Jamal has been arrested at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul." His fiancée was with him in Istanbul but was required to wait outside the consulate. A statement from the Washington Post international opinions editor Eli Lopez said, "It would be unfair and outrageous if he has been detained for his work as a journalist and commentator. We hope that he is safe and that we can hear from him soon."
Wow. So that's crazy. I mean, this man went missing. Like, you mess with people in Saudi Arabia, apparently you come up missing. So this article is talking about how this journalist who writes critical pieces on the kingdom's assertive crown prince has gone missing after visiting the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, according to the newspaper. And this happened just last week, late last week, and they reported it Wednesday. Jamal Khashoggi's personal website bore a banner saying Jamal has been arrested at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul without elaborating. The Washington Post said the journalist's friends were worried after losing contact with him Tuesday following his visit to the consulate. So what happened is Saudi officials in both Washington and Riyadh, they didn't respond to requests for comment from the AP. However, the 33-year-old Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's rise to power has seen a slew of businessmen, politicians, and activists detained. They say here, "We have been unable to reach Jamal today and are very concerned about where he may be," the Post's international opinions editor Eli Lopez said in a statement. "It would be unfair and outrageous if he has been detained for his work as a journalist and commentator. We hope that he is safe and that we can hear from him soon." So I'm just really repeating what the guy said in the video there. This is a picture of the man, Jamal Khashoggi, who they're looking for. He's 59 years old. He's a longtime Saudi Arabian journalist, foreign correspondent, editor, and columnist whose work has been controversial in the past in the ultra-conservative Sunni kingdom. So, you know, these in Saudi Arabia, they practice Sunni Muslim. They're Sunni Muslim, so they practice a version of Islam that, or sect of Islam, which is Sunni, which makes them Sunni Muslims. And he went into self-imposed exile in the U.S. So the guy that's missing, Jamal Khashoggi, he went into the U.S. Into exile following the ascension of Prince Mohammed, now next in line to the throne to his father, the 82-year-old King Salman. And the prince is 33 years old. As a contributor to the Post, so that's the Washington Post, Khashoggi has written extensively about Saudi Arabia, including criticizing its war in Yemen, its recent diplomatic spat with Canada, and its arrest of women's rights activists after lifting of a ban on women driving. The arrests illuminate the predicament confronting all Saudis. We are being asked to abandon any hope of political freedom and to keep quiet about arrests and travel bans that impact not only the critics but also their families, Khashoggi wrote in a May 21st column for the Washington Post. He says we are expected to vigorously applaud social reforms and heap praise on the crown prince while avoiding any reference to the pioneering Saudis who dare to address these issues decades ago. So what happened on Tuesday is he entered the consulate to get paperwork he needed to get married to his Turkish fiancée next week. He left her outside with his cell phone because you can't bring cell phones inside. It's a security precaution. So that's what they do across the North African area, which they call the Middle East. The BBC News reports, they have that linked in red, that his fiancée said she waited outside until the consulate closed and he still didn't come out. She said she didn't know what was happening. She didn't know if he was inside or if they took him somewhere else. The Turkish police came later to the consulate and reviewed footage from 2 surveillance cameras outside that they said showed Khashoggi entered the building but never left, the friend said. A Turkish security official said Wednesday that authorities were in discussions with Saudi consular officials about Khashoggi's situation. They just said our efforts are continuing. So these people are real secretive. They're like, okay, yeah, this happened, and we gonna keep looking for him, whatever. Well, they didn't even say we're gonna keep looking for him. They just said our efforts are continuing. What the hell that supposed to mean? So the official spoke on the condition of anonymity in line regulations that bar officials from speaking to journalists without prior authorization. Khashoggi was known for his interviews. So now you're going to get into why this man probably was kidnapped or, harmed or, you hope not killed for his ideas. But you have to understand, in the kingdom, which is in Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Yemen, Oman, Iraq, Iran, that whole area, all of that is the kingdom. And it was considered as the kingdom in a geopolitical sense. And when you coming in there as a journalist, you have to be real careful about the shit that you say. I mean, we would watch the movies that show you what happens to people that talk against the kingdom. You got a movie called The Kingdom, starring Jamie Foxx, and I forgot the other girl's name, the skinny white girl. I forgot her name. I don't know her name. But anyway, the brown-haired white girl in the movie. And you got all these other people in the movie. These are military or FBI with the military, and it was all about keeping things concealed and contained within the kingdom. That's why they called it The Kingdom movie. So this dude Khashoggi was known for his interviews and travels with Osama bin Laden between 1987 and 1995. And you have to remember, he also went to Afghanistan, and he wrote about the battle against the Soviet occupation. So you have to remember, that's very important to note, because Afghanistan had a war with the Soviet Union because the Soviets were occupying Afghanistan in the 80s. And that was like a corridor into Iran and Iraq for resources, oil resources mostly. Afghanistan wasn't having it. They said, fuck all this. Y'all out here doing whatever y'all want to do. It probably came down to clearly differences of opinion, differences of religion, differences of culture and everything. And I'm sure the Soviets were very disrespectful based on the history that I've read about Afghanistan, because I had to do a report on it back in high school. The Afghanistan people got tired of the Soviets, whooped their ass and kicked them back to Russia. That's what happened. 1988, 1989. They also say here in the early 1990s, Khashoggi tried to persuade bin Laden to reconcile with the Saudi royal family and return home from his base in Sudan, but the Al-Qaeda leader refused. And I don't even know if he was a leader of Al-Qaeda or not, According to reports, he was trained here, so we don't even know. But Khashoggi maintains ties with Saudi elite and launched a satellite news channel, Al Arab, from Bahrain in 2015 with the backing of Saudi billionaire Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. So Al-Walid bin Talal he's a billionaire. He has all this money, oil exploits, and also technologies and things. So he shipping and things like that. So he had the money to back this new news channel. This dude Khashoggi, he's just a journalist, But he's like, man, fuck all this. I'm going to start my own news network from Bahrain, and he wants to broadcast it into Saudi Arabia. And he going to use the money from a Saudi Arabian prince, because you have a lot of princes in Saudi Arabia. He was going to use the money from him to launch his news network, right? That way he can say what he want to say. But the channel stayed on air for less than 11 hours before it was shut down. So they put that channel up. He put all this money into it, all this effort and energy into it, and they shut it down after 11 hours. They didn't even let him go for a day. They shut the shit down. They said the billionaire backer was detained. So Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, he was detained in the Ritz-Carlton roundup overseen by Prince Mohammed in 2017. So this prince that put money into this journalist wanted to start a news network and have it stationed in Bahrain, but broadcast it to Saudi Arabia. They did a raid on his Ritz-Carlton hotel, I guess, where he was staying. And they detained this other prince. So one prince had another prince detained last year. I don't know if anybody heard of that. I heard of it, but didn't report on it because it happened. I think it happened earlier in the year, last year. But I don't think that was reported on for CNN or anything like that. They kept that kind of quiet because they were dealing with Trump. Right now, the Saudi citizens no longer understand the rationale behind the relentless wave of arrests, Khashoggi wrote in an August 7th column. These arbitrary arrests are forcing many into silence, and a few others have even quietly left the country. He offered his advice to the kingdom. He said, quote, there is a better way for the kingdom to avoid Western criticism. Simply free human rights activists and stop the unnecessary arrests that have diminished the Saudi image. I don't think they give a damn about the image. Because if they did, we would have never heard about this dude disappearing. One thing I noticed is people don't really mess with the people that's over there in the kingdom, in that area. This area that they call the kingdom, which is basically North Africa. They don't really mess with them. Even if you go back to manifestos of white supremacist terrorists such as Dylann Roof, he went through a long manifesto talking about the blacks, talking about the Jews, the Hispanics, the Asians, or whatever. And one group he did not mention was the Arabs, the Muslims. He did not mention them. He made a point of that. They ain't ones, basically, in so many words, they ain't ones to be fucked with. You know, and so this dude basically was messing up they money, messing up their whole thing. And he talking about, you need to worry about your image, your Western image. They don't give a damn about their image in the West. When you talking about the West, you mean the West where you got people getting shot down that's black, and the people that do it go home, they get shot down with impunity? You mean in the West where they put sanctions on countries like the one you loving to sit up in? The countries you go into and writing about, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, the countries that you writing about and being so critical of and writing controversial articles about, the same countries that you the same countries that the U.S. put sanctions on whenever they feel like it. U.S. is the same country you came to for refuge and couldn't even get it there because you had to bring your ass back to Saudi Arabia, and now you're gone. Who knows where this dude is? You know, maybe they sent him back to the U.S. I don't know. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. This is an interesting story. I'm going to see how it develops and maybe come back with another video to follow up. But I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all have a great day and stay safe.